Anti-domain techniques. All right, that's what this video is about. You already know that because you clicked on it. You already know that you want to talk about anti-domain techniques. But before we get to that, I'm gonna need to say something real quick. Welcome back to the channel if you are already subscribed, because it's been a minute. It has been a minute. My guys know it's been a minute. All right, I think that by the time I started recording this, I had 128 subscribers. So you already know it has been a minute since I've posted. It's been like 7-8 months. I had a child. I had my first child, me and my wife. Talking about that, where's my ring? I put lotion on my hands. I don't even know where I put my ring. I don't know where it's at. It's all good. I'll find it eventually. Anyways, though, we have not posted in a while, and my bad. Life got busy. Finished my degree, had a child, super happy. Now I'm back to recording. Yeah, that's basically where I've been. Anyways, let's get into it. Anti-domain techniques. All right, there's four of them. And they, they vary in strength and practicality, because some of them are just trash. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Some of them are not good. Others are really good, actually, like really, really good. Like, they should be taught, and some of them are taught. So we're gonna get into all that. But before I even talk about the anti-domain techniques, because you guys probably, I mean, like JJK hasn't been on social media and TV in a minute, probably as long as I've been gone, honestly. So before we talk about them, realistically, what I should do first and foremost is talk about domain expansion. Because how many of you actually remember what a domain expansion is? What is the purpose of domain expansion? Why do you use them? Especially when like they burn out so much of your curse technique and curse energy. So like, let me just talk about domain expansion real quick, because it's gonna be tough to even explain to you why you should counter it if you don't even know what a domain expansion is, or if you just forgot, like, what does that do again? Like something like that, you feel me? So let's get into domain expansion, all right? So domain expansion, for my guys who remember, you already know it's your innate domain, which is basically the inner portion of your brain that you go into to basically, like talk to yourself. Like when you're at work and you're like, bro, I really don't want to go into this meeting. It's that portion of your brain that you're in like right now, and like just like, you know what? That's my happy place. That's where I go to escape from reality for a second. And then I come back to reality now that I'm composed and I could chit chat. Yeah, that's your innate domain. So basically, like for Gojo, it's the infinity. It looks like it has all the information in the universe. For Asukuna, it's his malevolent shrine, because he's homeboy's reigning supreme. So he's out here like chilling on his shrine and shit. Is it over a minute? Yeah, we way over a minute, so we're good. And then for other people like Hikari, he loves to gamble, so you already know he made up his own little world where he's out here hitting jackpots. So yeah, stuff like that. You haven't seen Hikari yet because we haven't introduced him. I mean, kinda you did. Season 1, Gojo's, he talked about him, and you saw him in like a little photo with like, what's it called? Like a little like portion of the video with like Yuta, and I think Toto was in that. I don't remember. But yeah, I need to do a season 1 explain video. That's also coming soon. Real soon, actually. Real soon. Domain expansion is the innate portion of your like inner brain, like basically coming to life into the actual world. So you're probably like, how are you bringing your like inner like mind outside to the world? One way, a barrier. Actually, two ways, depending who you are. A barrier or not a barrier. Some people, specifically 2 people, are extremely smart and able to basically make their innate domain onto the reality of the world. Nobody else can do that other than those 2 people. For most of you, you've seen the first person, which is Sukuna. The second person, which I'm going to spoil it, so if you don't want to know, then skip a little bit ahead. The second person is Kenjaku. He has also a, a domain without a barrier, barrierless domain, if you will. So those guys, they don't care about a barrier. They don't care about closing. It's not that they can't, it's just that they don't, because there's just a certain advantage to not doing it. And they keep their sure hit attack, which I will also touch on in a second. But it's just stupid to me that those guys can do that, because they're the biggest, like, baddest people in JJK. They're the top 2 villains. I mean, one of them sealed Gojo, so like the other one blew up an entire city, and Sukuna using his domain expansion was wild to me. But yeah, so You're bringing out your innate domain into a barrier. Now, a barrier is basically just gonna enclose you and your opponent or group of people into this like this circular like space in like what's it called in reality. So it basically just looks like a black orb, right? Most people make it pretty big, like I would say, I don't know, like the size of a room, if not a little bit larger, right? Obviously, the domain inside of that barrier is different. It doesn't have to be the size of the actual barrier. It could be massive. Like, for example, you guys remember in season 2 when Dagon used his domain? Yeah, obviously, the barrier itself was not the size of an island plus the ocean. Obviously not. But you can manipulate things within your domain because it's basically your innate domain coming to life. So Dagon, my man, is the sea cursed spirit. So obviously he has the ability to make the entire ocean and an island inside his domain expansion. It's also really beautiful. So like I pretty much like it. And like Death Swarm is a cool technique too. So like that's pretty cool. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. He's actually a pretty cool like cursed spirit when you look at like the facts of like what his abilities are and everything. I can't believe they took him out so quickly. It kind of sucks. But anyways though, so yeah, that's a good example of how like you can manipulate a barrier so that you do different things inside of it. Now you know how I just mentioned Death Swarm is his technique. Yeah, so like the first step of a domain expansion is the barrier because you need to enclose people in it. The second step is merging your curse technique to that barrier. All right, so here's the barrier. You just made this, right? Here's your curse technique. You want to make it that this is imbued into that barrier, all right? So now they're together like this. So the whole point of that is because there's pros and cons to a domain expansion, right? Here's where we get into the whole point of why you need an anti-domain technique. The pro is the reason why you need an anti-domain technique because you need to be able to counter the sure hit effect that I mentioned way at the start of the video. You need to counter that because what is a sure hit effect? It's exactly what it sounds like. It is the ability to hit your opponent indefinitely. So I'm here, say your domain expansion's technique is that you spawn knives somewhere, right? So the knife does not appear before me and then hits me, right? Like I could see it, but like that's just a visual effect to help us in like the anime, all right? The actual way that it works is the knife doesn't exist until it already hits me. So if you wanted a knife in my chest, then the knife would be in my chest and there was nothing I could do about it, all right? Unless I use an anti-domain technique. So that's basically how it works. The sure hurt effect makes it that it's gonna hit you no matter what. That being said, you need to counter them. There's other stuff that comes with a domain, but this isn't a domain expansion video like Ranked and Explained. I'm going to do a remaster of that because I reread the manga for this specifically because I forgot all JJK while like I was taking care of my kiddo and whatnot. The pros and cons to a domain expansion. So the pro, sure hit effect. The other thing that comes with it is a buff in stats, but like again, this isn't a video covering just domain expansion, so that's all you really got to know about. I'll cover that in a remaster video on domain expansions. The cons, not really that you need to know right now for our purpose of this video, but the con is that after the domain expansion ends, you basically take a massive hit in your cursed energy. Like say like my cursed energy before I hit my domain is 100, right? After I hit my domain, I might have 20 left. So obviously it drains you of cursed energy. The other thing is your cursed technique. Say like my technique of like spawning knives or your technique of spawning knives is like what you can do on the normal. Yeah, no, your cursed technique is gone for a certain amount of time. For some people it's minutes. For other people it's like 10-15 minutes, like depending how bad like you got depleted on your domain. I'm assuming, actually no, it kind of matters how long you have your domain open for, but at the same time, even if you did a 0.2 second domain expansion, your technique is kind of drained for a little bit of time as well. So it really doesn't matter how long you open your barrier for, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. That's how like draining a domain expansion is. And even though we've seen a good bit of domain expansions in the show so far, not really everybody can use them. Like they're actually really, really hard to use. More so because of the lethality of the domain. So real quick, I gotta mention this real quick to y'all. Back in the old days, in the Han era and all that, they didn't used to have domain expansions with like a sure hit effect that like unalives you. You feel me? Like, you didn't hit the Control Alt Delete switch on people in your domain expansion. All right, your domain expansion was to buff stats and to like actually get an advantage on the person, but they never used to think about, oh, let me like make sure that the sure hit effect ends the fight, right? So like back in the day, it used to be like way more people using domain expansions because it didn't end the fight. So like a lot of people knew how to do it because they were proficient in domains to not domains and barrier techniques to begin with. So that's why we don't see as many people using domain expansions anymore. So yeah, that's basically everything you need to know about domain expansions for the purpose of this video. Obviously there's more stuff to it, and obviously there's different techniques and whatnot that people use with domain expansions, and different domain expansions out there. Some are cool, some are lame, you know, some are creative. Some are Hikaris, which is confusing as all heck, and I'm gonna have a terrible time explaining that one to you guys. But I mean, like, if this video does well, then like I'm gonna go ahead and redo that video rather soon. So like, it's up to you guys how fast you get that video explaining Hikari's, you know, domain expansion. So oh yeah, by the way guys, you know, like the video, let's get this video, you know, rack up them likes on this video. And you know, you should, if you're watching this video up to this part, 100, because we're at the middle of the video, subscribe, bro. Like, subscribe, hit the button, you feel me? Let's rack up some subscriptions. Let's get up to because we got to get a goal going, you feel me? Like, before I didn't have a goal. Now personally, bro, look, my birthday's in December. I need at least 10K subscriptions by December, all right? I'm turning 28. I need at least 10K subscriptions turning 28 because I need to justify, you know, I guess the word's not justified to myself because I enjoy recording and doing these videos, but I need a motivator to continue doing this because I'm going for my master's and, you know, my kid's here. So like, daddy time, spending that time with my kiddo is great. I ain't gonna lie to you, I love him. There's gonna be a weird cut just now because I lost my train of thought. But anyways, subscribe, people. We need to hit 10K subscriptions by the time that we hit December, all right? And that gives us, what month are we in, y'all? April? Yeah. So like, we don't got that many months till December, all right? We got 8 months barely. So we need to rack up those subscriptions really quickly, all right? So I hope you guys like this video up to here. All right, so let's get to the actual purpose of this video, which is anti-domain techniques. All right, so we're gonna start off with hollow wicker basket. Hollow wicker basket. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. Anyways, hollow wicker basket is basically when you go like this and you basically just create like a circle around you of cursed energy. It nullifies the domain's sure hit effect. Like, it's cool because it stops it. It's not cool because now you're doing a hand sign the entire time, which, like, yeah, your opponent has to do a hand sign to create a domain expansion, but they don't have to maintain that hand sign. They could do other stuff inside their domain, like hand-to-hand combat. Depending on their domain, they might want to do that, they might not. But the idea of doing this to stop in the sure hit effect really is why it's coming in number 4. Because out of the 4, is it the only one that makes you yeah, it's the only one that makes it that you have to do a hand sign. That's pretty lame. And there's a reason nobody uses it other than Sukuna and Reggie, who is a reincarnated sorcerer from like way back when, but which you'll see in the Cullen games. I'll do a video explaining the Cullen games so you guys understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's pretty lame because, like, I'm not gonna stand here in battle inside of a domain expansion nonetheless, do this, create a spear of cursed energy around me, and now I have no way of defending myself from your hand-to-hand combat because you could just lay it on me. Also, if it's an incomplete domain, or if it's a domain without a sure hit, then yeah, it just doesn't do anything. So like, if your domain is like, the purpose of it is to like give you just a home field advantage or whatever, yeah, hollow wicker basket is not going to do much. So yeah, man. Number 4. Moving on from that one, we got Fallen Blossom Emotion. Now this one's a little bit cooler, but it's also lame. I don't respect this one as much because, one, the big 3 family. Can we just talk about how the big 3 family, none of them are cool? Like, the Zenin aren't cool because they treat women horribly, and they basically are just like kind of scummy to everybody around them. The fact that like Toji was selling Megami to the Zenin just shows me how like scummy they are, that they're willing to pay for him because of his inherited technique. That is just it's just weird. Like, come on now. Um, the second one is the Gojo family, which realistically, Gojo, like Satoru Gojo, he's the only one that we see from them. We know they have an entire clan. I get that, but realistically speaking, Gojo, the way he grew up and everything, he treated everybody like shit. So I'm not gonna sit here and say the Gojo family did a great job of raising him. That being said, we love him, but realistically, he probably was an asshole to his family, and they probably raised him to be like that conceited. The other family is the Kamo family, and bro, just from the idea of how Noritoshi Kamo was treated, right, lets me know all I need to know about that family, because never did that family pull the Jon Snow treatment. Basically, never did they say, "Oh, you're to Noritoshi Kamo, your mom is the Kamo head clan's mistress, so because his actual wife did not spawn a child with a technique, you are going to be the next clan head. But don't get it twisted. Your mom is still his mistress, so she is, getting the hell out of the clan, because we're not going to have her around, because realistically, what is she doing for us other than being, the Kamo head clans, personal, yeah. Had to take a drink break. This ain't sponsored. Yeah, that clan is just not great, bro. But the three clans keep this technique to themselves. They don't share it with nobody, which I kind of get, because the next technique we're gonna show is like also kept to themselves. I don't know what it is about everybody hoarding like anti-domain techniques to themselves, but like it's kind of weird when you think about it. I get it. Sorcerers and curse users are not friends, but at the end of the day, you gotta kind of look out for each other. A domain expansion is domain expansion, bro. But yeah, Fallen Blossom emotion basically imbues yourself with cursed energy, and that cursed energy reacts on impact to the curse technique. So like if the curse technique, I don't know why I keep using the knife reference, but if the curse technique is a knife coming at me and it's going to spawn within my chest, right? Fallen Blossom motion, since I'm shrouded in cursed energy, the second it senses cursed energy, it's going to react and counter that. So it does a pretty good job of like countering cursed techniques, but the stronger the technique is, like Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine hitting you with Cleave and Dismantle. I don't know why I blinked on Dismantle just now, but it, like Sukuna hitting you with Cleave and Dismantle, obviously his cursed energy is way stronger than my cursed energy. So if I try to use Fallen Blossom motion, hit a haha, and then I get hit with a Dismantle, yeah, that's probably still gonna cut me really, really bad. So that being said, it's not that great. It's not that great. Like if your cursed energy is somewhere in the realm of the opponents, then it's pretty alright. But remember, they get a buff in stats as well. So like realistically speaking, how awesome is this technique? I mean, for Gojo, it's pretty good, because what is Gojo really going to worry about? Nobody's going to match him. Or Yuta, if Yuta, which we never seen him use it, but if Yuta was able to use it, which he probably could now, which if Yuta could use it, then like he's not worried, bro. But he's probably just gonna hit you with his own domain expansion. Easiest way to counter domain expansion is by expanding your own domain. They keep on saying that shit in the show, but I don't know why I said it like that. Anyways, that's number 3. Number 2 is the next one that's hoarded, is new shadow style simple domain, and I like this one. I like its effect. I don't like the new shadow style school. I like the fact that at the end of the show who took it over, but let me just give you some lore about the new shadow style school. The new shadow style school is so bad to join, because you get into a binding vow when you learn their techniques, especially specifically simple domain. You go into a binding vow so that you not only cannot share this simple domain with anybody else, which okay, cool, but like other people see you use it. So if they're smart and they know how to use cursed energy, then they can just learn it like Mekamaru did. It's not that hard, I'm assuming. The second thing that happens is in the binding vow is that you allow yourself to be called upon for battle whenever the new shadow style school needs you for battle. So you can't say no. So you have to go to battle. All right. So that also blows, because like Miwa, for example, at the end of season 2, when she did a binding vow to get all her energy, she kind of pulled a Gon. except for Golden it worked because he actually had potential. He was the MC of Hunter x Hunter, and he actually had potential. For Miwa, yeah, no. Her nickname's Useless Miwa. That wasn't gonna work for you, sweetheart. I don't know why you tried it. Now she can't wield the katana, so if she gets pulled into battle, yeah, she's effectively fodder. So that blows for her. The third thing that the new Shadow Style school does is, yeah, it's not confirmed, but it drains your life force. So the Binding Vow makes it that the head of the clan, which nobody knows who the head of the clan is in the anime at least, it drains the life force of all people who have simple domain and feeds it to the person who is the current head of the clan so that they live effectively forever. Yeah, that is not cool, bro. Sorry, but I'm not joining your new Shadow Style school just to learn simple domain and the other techniques. Yeah, I'm good, bro. I am good. But for Miwa, yeah, that's effectively what's happening to her, and now she can't even use her katana. So she can't use simple domain offensively, which is how she uses it. But like with quick draw, yeah, that's an offensive way of using simple domain, because simple domain is basically just using your innate domain, not really your innate domain, kind of your innate domain. It makes a domain around you, right? Like an actual spear around you, but it doesn't close like the barrier or anything like that. Like it doesn't trap anybody in it. It basically just makes it that you're doing a barrier to barrier clash with your opponent's domain expansion. So it nullifies the curse technique, the sure hit factor, like that. Because if you're going into a domain battle, both of your curse techniques are your sure hit effect, at least. Your curse technique can still activate. Your sure hit effect is nullified until you win the domain battle. So simple domain basically enters a domain battle with the opponent, which is cool, but it's hoarded. And it's you can still use it offensively. You can use Fallen Blossom motion offensively, but you need to get so close to your opponent that their cursed energy hits you, or you need to hope that they have an emission type technique, which, oh my god, I'm talking then, that hits you so that your cursed technique activates. So I mean, like, simple domain is just more practical, because depending on your skill with simple domain, unlike Fallen Blossom motion, which only covers your body, simple domain can cover an area, and if you're strong enough, you could expand that area, and then that means that you could not trap, but like you could get the opponents to basically touch your cursed energy by your domain, and then you can react within that domain expansion, that simple domain. It's basically called the domain for the weak, because realistically, if you don't have a domain expansion, you use simple domain, and that is why it's called the domain for the weak, because you're kind of at a disadvantage unless like you figure out how to be crafty with it, with a binding vow or something like that. But because you have like more versatility with simple domain, even though it's hoarded, it's kind of easy for other people to like see it and like master it, because I mean, like, Todo knows it, certain people in the manga know it, which I'm just going to spoil in 3, 2, 1. Yuji knows it in the manga, Gojo knows it in the manga. God, does Yuta know it? Dude, he has so much cursed energy. I don't think he cares about anti-domain techniques. I think he just goes into a domain battle. But yeah, basically a lot of people know it. Like our main cast knows it, which is cool, pretty much. All right, cool. Last one, domain amplification. This one's goated. This one's actually goated. This one's actually so good. While the other 3 focus more on defense, domain amplification is actually crazy efficient. I don't know who made it. I really don't know who thought about domain amplification. We seen it in season 2, and let me just tell you, for the people who don't understand what was happening and how they penetrated Gojo's infinity, let me just explain to you what's going on here. So I'm gonna do it real quick for you guys. Domain amplification covers your body, just like Fallen Blossom motion. It covers your body and like only your body. So like you see my hand, it wouldn't like be like out here. It would just be like basically hovering over my hand. It covers your body in your domain, like your actual domain. So it like gives you that aura of your domain. And then it basically makes it that instead of your normal curse technique, like Sukuna's, for example, he wouldn't be doing cleave and dismantle covering his body. So like when he punches you, he's shredding you. No, he wouldn't do that. He basically cover his body in his domain expansion, and then not add the curse technique. Let me tell you why that's important, because when you go to punch somebody who's using their curse technique, say it's like blood manipulation or infinity, right? you're effectively drawing in that curse technique into your punch, which means it's basically disappearing because you're absorbing it into your own domain to be the curse technique imbued in the domain. So now how there's two steps to a domain, adding the barrier, which is what you're doing over your body, and then imbuing the curse technique, you're skipping that step, like you're leaving that step empty so that it gets filled by your opponent's curse technique, meaning you could touch them. You could do hand-to-hand combat. Is what Jogo and Hanami did versus Gojo. Is he was like, now hold on a second, my technique is disappearing. My technique is getting pushed like into this, like it kind of feels like the way he explained it is that it feels like you're going into a domain clash. So it basically, which cancels out your sure hit factor, but they were drawing in his curse technique. So that means that if you are, in a sense, gifted enough to understand cursed energy to use domain amplification, you effectively can nullify any curse technique you go into battle with. Which, if Hanami and Jogo were better at cursed energy control, they effectively would have nullified Gojo's infinity during that fight. But since Hanami was way too weak during that fight after she got her roots taken out, yeah, she got unalived. So that blows for her, but that's how domain amplification works. Here's another fun fact. If you open your domain, your actual domain expansion, and then after you imbue your curse technique into your domain, now your curse technique is not being controlled by you. I mean, it is being controlled by you, but it's not like it's not being activated anymore. It's a part of the barrier. So since it's a part of the barrier, you can activate domain amplification because normally when you use it, you can't use your curse technique. So you have to give it up in order to take in your opponent's curse technique. So you're just relying on these hands. That being said, if you open your domain expansion, use your curse technique to be imbued into the barrier, and then use domain amplification to nullify your opponent's curse technique inside the domain clash or just your domain in general, bruh, now you're getting crazy because now you're nullifying their technique and hitting them with your own. Bro, that technique's golden. I'm not even going to sit here and talk about it anymore because domain amplification is obviously the number one anti-domain technique. All right, you got domain amplification, simple domain, fallen blossom motion, and the hollow worker basket, the one that nobody uses. And that's the video. So if you like the video, you already know. Rack up some fucking likes. Subscribe. I'm going to need some subscriptions. I can't speak. I'm going to need some subscriptions because, yeah, we have a goal. 10,000 by December. And then we got to, if we hit that goal, we're going to have to hit 50,000 and then 100. And then we're going to keep going to there, all right? To the moon, baby. And, yeah, share the video, comment. What else can you do? Do whatever. I don't care. Yeah, let's do it. It's good to be back. It's good seeing y'all.